Every person has an expiration date. You, me, and the slice of bread that nobody ever wants to eat. The problem here is that nobody knows when it's their time. It could be today, tomorrow, or 50 years from now. We'll never know when our heart will beat for the last time. But what if that wasn't the case? Toki Doki is a 60-page one-shot manga. This one in particular was written by the author of Nisekoi, Naoshi Kono. Nisekoi was a pretty typical shonen rom-com manga that mainly focused on harem romance and slapstick humor. But in terms of story and nuance, yeah, no, there wasn't anything there. The same can't be said for Toki Doki. Our manga opens to a funeral, and we see a picture of Takagi Hatsu, a girl that passed away at the age of 21 years old. Flashing back, it's shown that she was a quiet, lonely high school girl. It turns out that she has something very rare. And no, it's not a shiny Pokemon. It's a heart condition called the Kokuhaku disease. This condition makes it so that the person has a dysfunctional heart, with a very limited amount of heartbeats before it ceases function. We also learned that an app has been developed to show the amount of heartbeats a person has remaining. So with this knowledge, you wouldn't want to waste them, right? Takagi was told by her parents not to exert herself, in the case that it would lead her to die faster, meaning she had to avoid things like physical activity and sports. She was also never able to go on any sort of adventures for the possibility that it might take more time off of her life. But if you're living void of any happiness or excitement, is it truly worth living at all? That's where our main character Popo, who's named after a pigeon, comes in. He's been curious about Takagi and talks with her as she tells him about the disease. She says that although she would love to live a life of fun like she sees everyone else doing, the thought of lessening her life scares her. But she then says that even if she has a limited amount of time, she would want to live out every second left. And that's exactly what Popo helps her do. He takes her to the beach, where she explains that, like a League player, she barely goes outside. The two also go to an amusement park, and she decides to ride the roller coasters over and over again. She then has ice cream for the first time, and throughout all these experiences, Popo is able to realize that she isn't some gloomy, quiet kid. And throughout the summer, the two explore, doing any activity that might be the slightest bit of fun. They connect through their adventures, and it's pretty obvious that they're gonna get together. Anyways, they instead go to a fireworks display, and after going to karaoke, Popo learns that this woman can play guitar and has the voice of an angel. He brings her over to meet his band and some of his friends, and the only important friend is this guy right here, Kuronami. They're able to play songs and enter for an upcoming competition at the school. And as we skip to the day of the competition, we see Takagi ends up losing her guitar pick, one that's very important to her. And so Popo runs off to go look for it, since he has the least important role in the band. We see him searching, tiring himself out after running around the school, and we see this through each breath of his. He's able to find the pick and gives it to Kuronami, so that the show can go on. Takagi is extremely relieved, except that Popo's friend has some other news. Popo isn't coming. Takagi rushes out to see Popo sitting on the school roof, staring off into the sky. She pulls out her phone, and what do we see? The amount of heartbeats that Popo has. 1,264 heartbeats left, meaning that he has about 15 minutes left. This whole time, he's known about her condition, because he's had it himself. He didn't want to hold her back from expressing herself and going on these adventures to have each experience, because he knows exactly how she's felt. He wanted to be able to have a life full of excitement and happiness himself, and he's glad he's been able to provide her with the very same thing. She starts crying, and as much as Popo would like to have her beside him, he would much rather have her sing for the crowd so he can listen to it as he passes on himself. She goes on to do the performance, and later on we see that she became a real performing artist and pursued a life that she loved. And just as Popo left the world at the age of 17, Takagi used up all her heartbeats at the age of 21, both of them dying with smiles on their face. A smile of someone who was satisfied. When I first read Toki Doki, it was after I'd only known the author's work on Nisekoi, and trust me, after watching that, I did not think the next work I saw from him would be something as well written and tragic as this. But I think he succeeded on all fronts, from the characters to the plot to the art itself. It's all very genuine and heartfelt. Toki Doki is my favorite one-shot manga. Being able to condense a meaningful story into 60 pages and a short amount of words is nothing short of amazing. Within this period, you're able to connect with the few traits each character shows, and I think the concept and idea in itself was also very well done. The art is good, and there's a solid blend of lighthearted moments among the sad ones. And along with this, the two of them were 17 at the beginning of the manga, and you may have noticed Takagi states that she has 6 or 7 years left towards the beginning. She also died at the age of 21, meaning she went on to have more exhilarating adventures that made her heart beat. I'm sure if this thing were able to have more pages, more chapters, and more time, we could flesh out the characters and make the ending maybe more impactful and emotional. But I think we spend a good enough time with each of them, and it makes the ending perfectly bittersweet. This manga displays the innate qualities and joys of human life, and how you can't simply wait around expecting things to happen. You need to go on, chase your dreams, and do all you can to enjoy your life. And if you can't tell, this manga is well worth the 10 minutes of reading and crying that it will take you to get through it. And so with that, if you think this video was worth watching and want me to die with a smile on my face, please subscribe and leave a like because it helps out a ton. Thank you, and I will see you guys later.